Hi there everyone, thanks to my new subscribers and to my old subscribers. Tonight I'm going to do the truth about his feelings picker card. You choose a number, 1 or 2, and the timestamps are in the description box below. So I'll just ask the cards, what is the truth about his feelings towards my channel viewer? I have the 9 of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the 5 of Swords. What this tells me is that you are a supremely independent lady. Somebody who has everything in life. Now, if that's not material worth, then it's self-worth. That's what it's saying. Because you don't necessarily have to have everything in life to feel happy. And that's what the card represents. So it's really saying here that your person at the moment has moved away from you to fight his battles. And you would know what that means, because I feel like you have a sound understanding of your person. You're not making assumptions about his feelings for you. You're not imposing yourself on him. It shows in these cards that you're living your best life, but you're also acknowledging your feelings for this person, because you do have deep emotions for him. I wouldn't say from looking at these cards that he's somebody that you feel you're head over heels in love with. It really just feels to me like you're growing a love. You're sort of swimming in your emotions, and you appreciate the love that you feel for this person because it makes you feel happy. That's what it says. It makes you feel happy and passionate and gives you that buzz. However, you understand that he's off doing something else. He has moved away from you in some capacity, whether that's a physical capacity or an emotional or soul capacity. He has moved away from you, but it's not because you've broken up on a soul plane or you've broken up on a physical plane. It's because he has to go and deal with something in his life. He really has to deal with it. I feel that he got himself into some kind of strife, and the strife he got himself into involved another 2 men. However, there is a liar in this depiction. So I feel like they were very close, and he was led by one of this deceptive man into something, and it's caused trouble. Like the storm clouds are starting to brew, and he's found a clearer day for himself. And I feel like he's going back to face this issue since he met you. That's what it really shows. He's met you and decided that things aren't as bad as they could be. The battle was fought, and the battle hasn't been won yet. That's what these cards are saying. It's almost as saying he's assessing the damage now. But I think there's more to it. Like, I think he has to face something, face the karma of this situation. And he's gone back to do that because he found you. Like, I really get the impression from these cards that you are his savior. that's what it says to me. Like, he found his wealth in life when he met you, and I think we've seen this before in another reading. When he met you, the skies cleared for him. I feel like because he's very sensitive man, he can fall into depression quite easily. But it's almost as if you brought a certain type of joy and happiness in his life that he didn't experience before. And it's almost as if he has a new lease on life and he has somebody to live for. That's the impression I get. So he's gone back to face his demons. There were 3 people in this scenario, as I said before, but only 2 were deceptive, and he was the fall guy. That's what this depiction is saying to me. He was a bit green about whatever involvement he had, so he didn't quite understand what he was getting into. I think he did something very green, but he went at it very aggressively. So it's like he thought he could handle it, but it's like he wasn't experienced enough to get involved in whatever he was involved in. And he was really these other two men were the deceitful ones in the situation. He wasn't. He was the truthful person in the situation, but he got pulled in. And I think that he's managed to escape this situation with his wits because he's holding the 2 swords. He's holding 3 swords. He's holding 2 swords to protect himself, and he's holding the other sword as defense to whatever else approaches him against those 2 men, I think. Because there's something where he understood his own involvement, but also he also understands that it's not entirely his fault, and he was the fall guy. He understands that. But he is intelligent, and he's got out of it with his wits. So the other 2 don't have swords. They only have their deception. They only have their ability to lie and deceive and manipulate. So I think he's escaped something in the past because he's going back there. He's riding back there. It's saying to me that he wants his old self back. It says that he can potentially make a lot of money, and he wants to return so he can return with his armor. So it shows me that he feels more protected, and maybe he's consulted with somebody that can offer that protection, or he's found a way to negotiate this situation. That's the impression I get. So that's his consideration at the present time. He's the man in love who is protecting himself to a degree. He's protecting his emotions. He's protecting his emotions with his steel, his heart of steel. But he's considering them he's giving them a lot of consideration, and he's just simply decided that you are the lady for him, that you were the person that he was meant to meet after this turmoil erupted, that there was a fateful meaning behind whatever trouble he got himself into, whatever issue he got himself into. So it's actually very romantic. It actually has a very romantic story to it, these two cards, even though he has this difficulty. Because I get the impression again that he's been intimidated. He's been bullied. And I feel that you yourself have also faced intimidation in some way. It's independent of his problem, but it gives me the impression that you have also dealt with your own intimidation. But you've built up a confidence within yourself to rise above this situation, an independence within yourself to rise above it, whereas he's quite sensitive and he's still got to deal with the repercussions of that event. I feel that he has it in mind to adopt these two men in, and I feel like he will have success with that. Because he's flown somewhere. That's what it says. He's flown away overseas. That's what it says. So you would know what that means. I feel that you know what I'm talking about when I say that. He's also being very graceful about his attitude in respect of this situation, because I feel like he's a very pure guy, very loyal guy, can be very successful with money because the fish show up again, can be a little bit slippery, and I'm sure that's part of the reason he got in trouble with this in this situation, but it shows that he's going to face it. And I think the most encouraging aspect of this spread is that he's going to face it because he's in love. And he wants to build a life with you. That's what it says. You make him feel passionate, you make him feel happy. It says he wants to start a cycle of life with you. It says that he wants a solid relationship. He wants to give you his cup. It says that there are many stars in the sky, like there are many women. There are many women in his midst, but he's turned away from all of them in favour of you, in favour of his loyalty towards you. I also see the ex again. It's like he's found his strength. Like I can see there's two situations where he's had this trouble that he has to sort out and he's going to face it so that he can return to you as a whole person. The other thing I find in these cards is that he had an ex, and we've seen this before. He had somebody he left behind, and I think it must have had something to do with his situation because it shows up again. And she's basically at the point where she's begging him not to leave her because I feel they've been separated. It shows they've been separated. They didn't break up, but they separated as a couple. So that indicates to me that because of what happened, there was some negotiation in the relationship still to occur, and it was put on hold because he was still dealing with this other issue. So it really shows here that he's gained his strength back because he's realised what he wants. He's realised he wants you. That's what these cards are saying, because you show up in his love position. She shows up in the begging position. The person who wants their partner back. And I guess that's a bit of a problem because you're going to have the situation where you're still negotiating the dynamics of your relationship with a third party. But what it's saying is that he's standing strong now. because he's passionate and devoted to you. And I feel like she wants him back now because something in the situation has been brought to light. It's almost as if he dobbed those other men in for their deceit and he's been exonerated or something like that. And if he hasn't been exonerated, because it shows that he was involved, it means that he's been able to prove to an extent that it wasn't all him, that there was some blame to place on others. And I think she's found out that it wasn't all him. And now she says, now she's stopped the blame game, and she said, now her opinion is, oh, I want you back. I want you back now that it's proven that it wasn't all you. I want you back. That's the impression I get. And he's like, no, love, no, bip off. And I feel like he's managed to get that strength, gain that strength, because he knows he's in love with you. And that's why I say it's a really beautiful love story, because it says to me that it's really sweet. It says to me that you are his strength and you are his true love. And he has a really strong realization about it. And it's turned him into a better man. And it's basically meant that whatever he went through on whatever scale isn't half as glorious to him or inglorious to him as your love. It's like you instilled in him a confidence, a belief in himself, and he was able to carry on from that point. That's what these cards are saying. So if you're sitting there wondering and you're going, I haven't seen him, I don't know what's happening, I know we're in love, I haven't spoken to him, well, you can be rest assured that you are his inspiration. That's what it shows very strongly in the Knight of Cups. You inspire him every day of his life, even if you're not together. Okay, so that was number 1. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website. I have 2 services, a PayPal service and a Fiverr service. The Fiverr service has a few more options for readings if you would like to check it out. Also, if you would like to make a donation to this channel, please also find my PayPal details on my website. This is deck 2 or card 2 or number 2, whatever is politically correct. So, all right, let's ask the cards here. What is the truth about his feelings towards my channel viewer? What is the truth of his feelings towards my channel viewer? I have the Ace of Cups, the Emperor, and the Ace of Swords. Oh, good-o. This is excellent. If this reading resonates, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website. I have 2 services, a PayPal service and a Fiverr service. The Fiverr service has a few more readings to choose from if you would like to take a look. If you would like to donate to my channel, you will find my PayPal details on my website. Right, so this person definitely wants to start a new relationship with you beyond a doubt. Very much so. I can see a very powerful man in this depiction. So he's either got money or power, basically, because he's a very strong man, very strong-spirited. I get the impression he has facial hair, quite possibly blonde in his hair, if he's a brunette. because it shows somebody who has lighter color hair, but of course, not everybody has brunette, blonde hair. So it's like, well, I feel this person has brunette hair with with blonde dye in it, or a tinge of blonde, that sort of thing. So you get the impression from that. But I really feel this is a very successful man, you know. He must really love the beach and the country. I see a guy who loves the beach and the country. Or the shore, you know, going to the shore. Or going out and, you know, have taken a drive through the hills, something like that. That's the big impression I get from these cards, because he's built a successful career for himself, or a successful endeavor. If you feel he's not a successful man career wise, then he is a person that is very confident. He's extremely, supremely confident within himself. I don't think he has an arrogance about him, but he is extremely smart. I mean, he has a very inquiring mind, and he's extremely intelligent. But he is deeply in love with you. You know, he's considering two things at the moment. He's considering handing you his cup of love, and he's considering his intellectual pursuit. So he's giving it a lot of thought, you know, like a strong thought. Like it's something that turns over in his mind every day. Plus, I feel he has like an intelligent job or something like that. Like he does something very intellectual. So he's always working on his mental pursuits. That's what it says to me. But it says he's considering your love on the same scale as those intellectual pursuits. So I feel he's getting ready to express himself to you. That's what it shows me, because it's almost as if you're his little dove. You're his beautiful white dove. So he looks upon you as somebody very gentle, somebody very pure, somebody very sweet, somebody that's very attractive and beautiful and soft. So but I also get the impression that you've flown away from him, and it's increased his love for you. It's like he wants to fly to you on the wing of a dove and hand you that cup. So he's very much in love with you. Very much so. I feel like he has some difficulties generally in his business, so he must be a person that takes on a strong position in life. He takes on a very strong position, and he's always got obstacles to surmount. So that's another thing it shows me in here, but in these cards. But it just shows really the consideration he's giving you at the moment. It's almost as if he doesn't want to be treading the lilies anymore. He wants to be um, lifting you up now, lifting you out of um, the the emotional swamp. He wants to capture you, basically. He wants to capture you in his cup. And he's been thinking very deeply about how he can do that. How he can move you into position so that he can have you in his life. So he's really thinking about how he can get you to return to him. That's what he's thinking about. How sweet. So it shows he's very impassioned about you. He's grown a real passion and devotion towards you. He thinks you're a very smart lady, that's what it shows. But you're extremely independent. That's what he realizes, that, you know, the cup standing here alone and the sword standing here alone. And he thinks that you are the perfect balance between emotional pursuits and intellectual pursuits, but that you stand firmly in this reading on your own. So it's like he knows that you're supremely independent, and he's just trying to work out how he's going to move you into position so that he can bring you into his world. That's what it shows. It shows he's had a lot of lovers in his past, quite a few lovers. He's had quite an exciting life, I'd say. Very protected by the male set, very respected by the male set. He must be a very warm person, very warm, very engaging. That's the impression I get. Shows here though that there's been some slippery people around you again, trying to challenge your intellect and trying to challenge his, trying to outsmart you both, but for different reasons. And they haven't been very successful, is that? I think, you know, they've found themselves burnt from attempting to cross you, to cross your wits. And they've all scurried away. Those, you know, slippery people have tried to scurry away, but they scurried straight into the flames. So it shows me that you're intelligent enough to know what's going on, and so is he. But I feel like your success is different. The success that you have in your lives is different. I feel that your success is based on emotional pursuits and your loyalties, whereas his success is more like business-based, like entrepreneurial. He has a lot of success in those areas, whereas you have a lot of success in your emotional areas of life. Because I feel like, you know, you spend money like water a bit, whereas he keeps a firm hold and firm control over those elements. But now he's really thinking about you and looking at you square. And we've seen this before, but he's really looking at you square. He's really going to follow those passions into the near future, I feel, because you are the love in his life. You are the golden chalice. You're the cup of life. So that's putting you on a very high pedestal, you know. That's next to the word of Christ kind of things in terms of emotions. So he's very much enamored with you. I feel like you've had sharks circling you. That's the impression I get. And his power has turned those sharks into carp. So he's a smart guy. He's a powerful man. He has influence, and he's kept a strong guard over you. Very strong guard. Even if you can't see it, even if you can't feel it, he's there, sitting right next to you. So I get the impression from these cards that the truth of his feelings is that he wants to start a new relationship with you. He's very passionate about you, very devoted to you, very loyal to you. He's stopped having lovers since he found you, which is very significant because this is a man that has success in lovers but not really long-term relationships. And I feel that's just a measure of his success and his busyness. And also he doesn't really get in touch with his emotions easily. And what it's saying here is that when he met you, he or saw you or connected with you, he turned from a man who was very hard and very cold, and he turned into a feeling person. And that's very significant because his intellectual pursuits are put on a very high scale. His emotional affairs have always been put on the back burner. And he put his feelings for you at the forefront when he connected with you, which is extremely significant because air and water don't exactly mix. But you've got the Ace of Cups here, and that's a large pool of emotions. So you've managed to tap in to his emotional resource, and that's an extremely significant milestone in anybody's emotional existence. Okay, so that was number 2. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website. I have 2 services, a PayPal service and a Fiverr service. My Fiverr service has a few more readings if you would like to take a look. If you would like to donate to this channel, my PayPal details are also on my website.